Okay, so since it's a official Kubernetes calendar meeting, so like we need to abide by the code of conduct and be nice to everyone and don't say anything that you don't want to get recorded and stored in cloud. Yeah, so we are starting with the Kubernetes APAC Meta Contributors blog meeting. So till now, we have collected responses from folks, and we are done with our initial draft. For which, in the last meeting, we selected folks whose responses we want to mention in the first draft, namely, just a minute. Yeah, so they were like Sayam, Kunal, Humble, and Mrityunjay. And we did culminate them in the final block. So as per our earlier discussions, it was decided that we will put exactly what the responses were recorded in the async form, and again culminated by you guys in the form of individual blocks. So we did that, but today like me and Priyanka got some of the reviews which importantly said that it would be better if we don't directly copy paste what has been said rather than put it in the form of a storyline, so that it would be great from a reader's point of view. So this is the first thing. I'll also mention it in the discussion part. So we need to put, if anyone could volunteer for taking the notes, that would be better.
I can do that. Yeah.
It's in the Kubernetes APAC blog series that the doc we are following. It's in the very end of the first run blog.
Yeah, I'll just find out. So I've joined from a new machine. Is this the same document that we have
Yeah,
been
yeah,
using?
this
Yeah.
this this is the same document, just it's at the end of our first cycle. Like if you go to the previous run, so you
Yeah,
would
yeah.
find above that.
Got it. Got it. I'll note down that points. Thank you.
Yeah, so this was the response that we got. Like many of them want us to put them up in the form of a storyline, and for authenticity they want us to mention quote few of the lines said by the original contributor itself. Also, another important point which was noted down was like the present contributors we are focusing on are more biased towards SIG ContribEx or ContribComs. Like we see these folks more active in interacting with people, or sending messages regarding new contributors or helping out new contributors. And it is it's obvious that our choice of contributors would be biased towards this, because we are new to this and we have seen very few folks in this community. But since it's a large project with so much people, so there are people who are contributing to, they're doing code contributions at some of the other SIGs, which has been gone unnoticed by us. And we got the suggestion that we should also make our contributors list more diversified. So there are two ways to it. Like I asked Nikita for a list. She gave me a list of contributors, which she made. But the more reliable one is the dev stats. So I will put the link of the dev stats in the docs itself. What is dev stats is, if you see about, it will give you an information about the contributors contributing to a particular SIG or Kubernetes as a whole from a particular region. So you will see a lot of names there, which we didn't consider in this cycle. So at present, we need to consider these names also, so that the blog is completely, like the blog is completely of mixed opinion. So these are 2 points. First, we need to put in the form of a storyboard. Second, we need to get a set of contributors who have a diversified background. Also, there is one third, and I guess what was I forgot. Wait, these two, and yeah. So let's discuss on that. I was saying some point. Sorry, pardon me. I forgot about that point. So yeah, first is the story and the dev stats. That's it. That's the two things. Yes, remind. The responses we got, there is a section for suggestions for new contributors coming up. So like there are a lot of folks that when they were asked about how Kubernetes helped them in their career graph, or how Kubernetes helped them say, so they mentioned it, this contribution would be a great help in resume building, in CV building. So that was kind of not liked by a few of the people. Like the folks weren't interested mentioning these things. So like it basically fails the ethics of why this open source is working. It's a volunteer work. You don't do it for CVs, you don't do it for resume, you do it because you like it or you like to contribute. So that thing, I'll give you more clarity. Maybe Priyanka could give more clarification on that point, because even I'm still a bit confused on that. But yeah, overall, what I got from the reviews is this thing. But most importantly, we want to put it in the form of a story, and we need to put the things, make our contributors base more diversified. Like get folks who are contributing to say SIG testing, SIG node, securities infra, and all those which have gone unnoticed at this time by us. So that's it.
Um, sorry, I am slow. I just got access to the document, so I'll just note down all the points in there. I am also catching up with all the updates, but I just had a quick look at the initial draft, blog draft, and I also agree with the feedbacks we have received, and we can definitely improve. So I think the very first thing I see as an improvement is number one thing that Deba just discussed, that in spite of having separate like at the moment, correct me someone, because I'm looking at a draft which is like one question and then there are 4 people and answers to each one of answers from each one of them under one question, right? So I also feel we can make sections as in 4 section, but each section will be just one person, will be, it would be a paragraph related to just one person, so we can pick up the major, the most. So from the review, what I understood was and from the responses that I have read so far across people, um, it's true that most of the people have talked about their contributions helping them to towards getting a job or getting a better resume, which is a very common pattern we have seen across the responses. So this is something I think we also can't work on unless people the upcoming responses we receive from people will have a different sort of answer, because otherwise it would be just us writing something on their behalf. I mean, we can do something, but we can't like literally write something on their behalf. So I think like on this thing, we would have to think about some more questions and remove those questions that like immediately, because in our current set of questionnaire, there are questions like this: how it has helped you in your, I think the question is something like helped you in your career or in your job or something like work or something. So that's a very direct question, and even I myself would answer something like that only there, that yes, my contributions have helped me getting so and so job or something like that. So I think we need to remove some questions there and make some, add some more generic questions that let people answer in a more generic way, not just directly asking them like how it has helped them in their work. Because seriously, I think that's the only answer I could think of. Okay, it helped me adding my open Kubernetes contributions as open source experiences that eventually led me to get a job or something like that. So I think that's something on our end only to improve. And so I think this is something we can take as a to-do item, to remove some of the very direct questions which ultimately lead people to answer in this certain way, which is not like the pattern of answer is not appropriate for a content like this. So that's one of the feedback we received. Another thing is, we might like just add some generic questions rather than very specific that would lead to a common pattern of answers. So yeah, I think we need to work on some on the questions. And other than that, regarding the initial blog post, I haven't read the answers, like what's the exact content that has gone into the answers at the moment. But I feel like for right now there are 4 people, and we can improve on this particular initial draft. I can help on it. What we can do is, rather than having the section as one question and then answers under it, we'll try to club all the answer from one person and make it one paragraph, try to make it more a story like thing. So then we can work on this particular block only, and yeah, try to improve it. The other thing I can see, while like in order to improve this one, or as one of our other initial draft, is there are some responses. I won't name them because I do not recall the names properly, but I think there are some responses that which have like a diverse kind of answers. I'm not sure they are from India, but I think they are from different countries, but they have like some kind of answers I believe people would like to read rather than the same pattern, because what review feedback we have received, I think we are trying to avoid certain pattern or certain kind of answer. So we can maybe pick up more folks at for now, and uh, yeah, we can discuss on it if we want to move towards that way. But I think there are some responses from New Zealand and some from China, I think. So we can pick up wherever we have the most responses, 3 or 4. We can try picking up those people, and rather than doing what we are doing right now, we can take all their answers and make up one paragraph and make it a story like thing. And then we can again go through first like our own review. Maybe we can run the draft through us, all of us present here, and then we can pass it to other people outside the group. So yeah, that's what I feel. Is there any other thing that I missed, Deba, that you talked about, or what we received as feedback?
No, no. These are the things basically, covering more diversified folks and
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So yeah, uh, I am not sure how it happened, that particular part, that most of the folks that we picked up are from the contribEx or the docs part only. It was a total coincidence, because nobody was doing that intentionally. It was just like Deba said, we were aware of the people only, or most of the folks that are present here are part of these groups only. So that's perfectly fine. I think that just that was a coincidence, no one's mistake. So we can now consciously pick up people from different domains, and I think we have responses. It was like a coincidence kind of thing. The 4 we picked up, all of them were contribEx, like the 4 that went into the initial draft. I think we have some responses uh, from people who are contributing to other domains in the Kubernetes project as well. We can try looking for them. Otherwise, I want to understand. Just trying to get an update. Are we reaching out to more people at the moment?
I guess for India, we have reached out a lot of folks, but I will add a few names that I got from Nikita today, the list she gave me. There are a few names, excuse me. There are a few names that we missed out, and we need to, connect with them.
Okay, okay.
That's it, I guess. Rest
And
we are receiving from outside folks, like Anubhav, I guess, would be
okay,
working on that.
okay. Which is wonderful actually. And so just want to understand about the names we have received from the list today are all people from India region.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I have one other doubt because if we are going to mix other no
No,
people
no.
from APAC region, so
Uh-huh.
will that be a problem or not? Because
Yeah.
what Nikita mentioned is about Meet Our Contributors blog series India region as this article.
No, I was thinking like, if at the moment we can't improve the initial draft, just in case because of the pattern of the responses, I am sorry, I haven't really read the responses, but from the review and from the feedback that Nikita and others provided us, I just understood that the responses might have some pattern that is just going towards the resume building and the job part. So I am assuming those answers are in the initial draft. So what I was saying was, if that those are the answers from the people, we really can't do anything. We can just add some bits here and there, but we can't change their answers. So just in case, if that is the and like as a whole that is the pattern only, what we can do is like try to focus on a different region at the moment, unless we get responses which have a diverse answer set, or we can club
Okay.
some people which who are already in the first draft. We can pick up like couple of those folks and add some other folks from different um who are contributing to different domains in Kubernetes project in India region itself. So I was saying like at the moment we can look at the whatever responses we have received, and if we have enough like 3 or 4 responses from different region as well, and those look like diversified responses, we can just do the same thing on those responses. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we have enough responses. I guess at present, we have responses from people from India who are not part of ContribEx mail. Like I could see, we have response from Aditi. We have response from no, Naveed. We don't have response, but let's reach out. Ours will be also sending out his home, as I said today, and let's check out few other responses and see if no there are like people from diversified background in India available, because we have collected a lot of responses from India
Yeah,
itself. So
just want to ask how many responses we have received at the moment. I think we can stop reaching out to people and maybe start working on the responses itself. If we have received a lot at the moment, a lot means some uh 30-40 responses
22, I guess, we have received.
over multiple regions.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we can stop reaching out until the next meeting, which will be bi-weekly. So after next to next week, I think during this time we can stop reaching out to people. We can discuss based on what's our progress over these 2 weeks from today, and based on that we can resume this thing. Like what kind of, not what kind of, like in what domain we want responses. So we are looking for contributors in what domain exactly, because the problem here is we do not want to focus on one particular part of the Kubernetes project. That was another feedback. So uh, we can try making batches of people now based on different contribution domains in the project in from particular region. uh, do you want to before we can do that on the on this meeting itself maybe quickly, but anyone has any question? I see one suggestion from Anubhav. So he says dividing the regions based on countries may cause difficulties with smaller countries where it may be difficult to find number of contributors to even do one blog. I propose we club countries into these sub-region: East Asia. Yeah, sorry, I do not understand which country fall into this particular thing, but I think that sounds like a good way of doing that.
Uh, yeah, also Vedant raised this issue with me also. There are some negative responses from some contributors. I don't think they were at present context. There was a contributor whose response I don't remember the name. Could you, Vedant? Could you please share the response, please?
I think we do not want to talk names here because it's
Yeah.
recorded.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Cool.
please.
So leave it. So there was a folk who who mentioned that uh, he didn't like a particular part of Kubernetes, and I think that was in past tense. He was talking about previous things, but at present, but he didn't mention anything about at present. So initially when you read it like, okay, is it the problem we are having? Because I when I read it, it felt like I so raised this with Paris and all. But then I gave it a read again, and I felt that it was in a previous sense. So he was talking about past days. Uh,
I
so
think
I
sorry, go ahead,
no,
Devin.
no, I was saying we could just ignore those things and
Yeah.
move it, because I don't see those problems at present arising for any of the folks, and even in ContribEx, we don't see such problems arising.
Yeah, based on the feedback, what I understood is we really have to go and filter out the responses, which means even though we are reaching out to 10 people, based on what responses we have received, we have to decide whether we want to write about them or not. I do not know whether we should do it or not, but I think that's what I understood based on uh, the feedback, that if even
Yeah,
if
yeah,
like again, if we are getting repetitive answers, we would not want to write the repetitive answers in a single blog for a single region. So there might be some chances that we would have to now leave some of the responses and not post them at all for now, at least. So that's one filter we have to do. The another thing is like, we are asking them for their responses. We can't like tell them, oh, you can't say wrong, you can't share your bad experiences, but we can just work on that, like take that as a feedback, and maybe if we know there are people who could help them, if they really need some help, then we can reach out to other people who could help them. Otherwise, just leave it for now, because we really can't
yeah,
do anything. Yeah, because we are, our work at the moment is, it should be clear, we are just here to write the blog. And if we'll like try to read the content and then work on, like take an action on based on what is written there, and deciding our action based on what is written there, that's not our work, because otherwise that will be a lot of distraction. So yeah, like Deva said, we just have to ignore those things. If there something that can't, so here we have to decide, if I am writing something like that and I am putting that on a public portal, it is going to not help them only. So if you think something, some answer is like that, that putting that on a public portal is not going to help them, not going to help anyone, not going to help the project, just leave that line only. If you feel there are 5 answers and one of them is like that, just use the other 4 answers. Or if there are like 5 answers and 3 of them like that, then the only thing we can do is just leave that particular response and move on to the other one. So yeah, um, we can do our work like this, like this time what I've understood is we do not the questionnaire was just to take some idea about a story from for a contributor. We really do not have to write everything that whatever we have received. We can pick up stuff from what we have received and make a 4 to 5 line paragraph from that. That's, I think that's what we should do now based on the feedback. So yeah, if part of that which is very small is negative, something, some, not negative, some different way constructive feedback, then we can just leave that. Yeah. And that if you do not, like if by yourself you are not able to understand that something is like that, just put it in the draft and run it through people first in our group only, and a couple of people can help you decide whether this something should be removed or this something should stay or something like that. Yeah. uh, there are more suggestions. So Puneshwar, he says, I have a small suggestion about reaching out to folks. There are some content creators out there on YouTube who have put out amazing content on cloud native Kubernetes stuff. Should we try to skim out such people maybe? Uh, I just correct me someone. I think all of those folks, um, not all, but most of those folks again fall under the contribacks or the which is communication and that. So I
yeah,
might be wrong, but again we are moving to this particular domain only, where or we already have received abundant of the responses. So for now, like that was a very good suggestion, very very good suggestion, but we are trying to look forward to more diversified responses now. And I think most of them are from the communication or the marketing group only, if I'm right.
yeah. That's absolutely right. We don't want more communication folks, because that is not going to help many, because this large project there are a lot of parts to
And
it, so we
also
need to focus.
also this is personal opinion. What we are trying, I mean, what I was thinking when I was thinking of getting some responses from people was to help people who do not have any appearance or do not have any currently do not have any 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 previous content which is their experience. So most of these YouTubers from the community who are sharing the content and doing wonderful work, but they already have a platform to represent themselves. I think we can for now focus on people who are doing wonderfully, like who are very highly contributing to the project, but have never been represented on any public platform about their experiences. So we can maybe first focus on those folks. That's personal opinion. Yeah.
No, it's absolutely correct also. Like we need to focus on that. Now let's, like, I guess we have a few minutes left. So let's discuss on how we are going to put the final blog in the form of storyboards. As Priyanka shared, like we need to put only one contributor's response under one section. Part of that contributor's response. So I have one suggestion here. We will like we have a lot of responses from India. Let's not just concentrate on 4 or 5 folks. Let us take India as a whole, check, run through all the responses we have received, and the individual blogs has been written, so anyone could go through them and see which part seems more interesting or which part seems like it should be mentioned in the blog, and put that part under a particular section. Like now the broader subsection is already there. Just we need to omit those questions and just concentrate on the broader subsections which we also discussed in the last meeting. So under this broader subsections, which like first of all the backgrounds we discussed and how did they get started, experience as a contributor, and suggestion. Mostly these are the 4 things that we wanted to concentrate. And then there are questions under each section I put because it will be easier for us while we compile. So last thing we had planned was we will mention each and everything. We are not going to get anything listed, but that is not the scenario now. We will mention the best responses that we have got and the diversified. Like if we are getting a response on career building or CV from one other person and we are getting the same response from another person, then we will consider the best response, the response that is well elaborate and we feel like it should be mentioned. So we will mention only one person's response and omit the other one. So similarly, on that same line, if you work, then we will get a diversified form of blog writing. So I guess this makes something clear for us, some to-do work we are getting, like we are running. We will go through all the blogs, individual blogs, and pick up an important part which we feel should be mentioned in the blog and mention it under that particular subsection. And then we could, Priyanka could run through it and do the final edits there itself.
Deva, I just want to know how much time we have in the meeting, or we already have are past the time.
I guess it's a 1 hour meeting or something like
Okay,
that.
it's a 1 hour meeting. So we have 28 minutes. Okay, I was thinking,
Okay.
We can in the end or somewhere when everyone is okay, is done with the discussion, we can maybe stop recording and share our screen with all the responses that we have received, and we can collectively go through, like have a skim reading through all of the responses and decide, okay, out of these India responses we have received, we are picking up this. So everyone will be included in the decision, like who we are picking up. And one thing I want to suggest now is, rather than the individuals picking up who they want to write about, we can do is we pick up say 5 people out of 10 responses we have received, say from India. We can if people can say, okay, if folks in our group can share their interest if they want to write the blog, and we can assign them, right? That would be easy to for us to understand as well, that okay, these 5 are priority at the moment, we need to write about them because these are going in a blog. And that would be easy rather than people picking up, because then there are some people who will always be left because for some reason there is no one at the moment feeling like writing about them. So what I am thinking is, after like once we are done with our discussion, we can stop recording and collectively go through that, if that sounds fine. So before we do that, anyone like who want to unmute themselves, because I was not around, but maybe there might be some discussions that had happened over last week. Anybody wants to talk about them or anything you have as a query? I think Purneshwar has one question. So he's asking, is the final draft edit open to all? Is it? So anyone can
Yeah,
edit?
yeah, it's
Okay.
open to all. Mm, okay, so
Avinesh,
I guess
Avinesh has one question. He is asking, how about taking some part of a particular response in place of doing a summary for a whole? Uh, I think I do not understand it properly. Deva, you understand it? Maybe Avinesh, you want to elaborate more on this?
Yeah, I mean, we were discussing about going in. The responses are quite repetitive. So what we can do is we can just pick some part that is quite interesting and that is not been mentioned in other responses, and just put that as a, as a part of a particular person's blog, in place of summarizing the whole response of that particular person.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the idea from now onwards, that we, I think we have 9 questions, right? 9 or more than 9 questions at the moment in the questionnaire. And 2 of them are something that people have left blank as well. So 7, we can say most people have filled. So out of 7, we can say there, just on an average, good responses will find 4 appropriate responses, 4 to 5. So we can use 4 to 5 only. So yeah, like Avinesh said, we do not have to summarize all of the content that we have received as part of the response. Based on our own understanding, we can, like, whoever has picked the responsibility to write a blog for a particular person, write a section for a particular person, they can decide based on their own understanding that, okay, out of the 7 answers, these 5 look more interesting. I am going to write my paragraph around these 5 answers. And yeah, and once we will have all 5 sections. So say we are focusing on 5 people in a particular blog, just saying. So once we will have all 5 sections, the blog sections, in one draft, we can see, oh, there are still common patterns, so we can remove that during our internal run of the review. Yeah.
yeah, this is good. We could go with this.
Just to add into the question, are we going to give an introduction to the contributors?
Sorry, didn't get you. Introduction to the contributors or to the blog as a whole? What do you mean?
No, not as a blog. The suppose we are writing a blog on an X person. So are we going to give an introduction to that X person, or are we just gonna talk about the experience or something, the questions?
I think, say, sorry, Deva, you can go ahead.
No, no,
I
no. Go
just,
forward with
okay.
it.
So I
I
was
just
thinking,
don't have
like,
any idea.
couple of the first 2 question we have is the name of the person as well as what they are currently doing. And most of them have also pointed out which part of the Kubernetes project they have majorly contributed in. So we can just club these 3 part of the answers in one line, saying, okay, some XYZ person is currently working at this thing, or is a student majorly involved in this part of the Kubernetes project. That could be a simple introduction, I feel. That would give them, okay, they are professionally or working academically, currently working at this place and involved in this part of the Kubernetes project. Yeah, I think that would be a simple introduction to start with.
Yes, like just name, the company, and the tech stack, like the SIG they are involved with. I think these 3 things are I guess enough for a person's introduction. Like if we quote any person's response, like for authenticity, we just mention that. And also I guess we will mention in the end of the blog or somewhere in the blog at the beginning that from these people we have collected response. Maybe we could, write the company name and the SIGs they are involved with in there itself.
Sorry, Deba, I didn't understand the last part. Could you please repeat?
I like, is it not a requirement to mention all the persons whose response we are writing in the blog? Like, is it, if it is
I
necessary,
think
then
that's a very good thing because that would involve everyone who has contributed to it. Um, uh, yeah, I think we can work on that particular part because that would really be a way to thank people for their time because they have taken out time. So yeah, I think that part we can discuss on that. I'll take it as a note in my diary and put that in the discussion page. But yeah, that's something. Thank you for pointing it out.
yeah, so that's done. Now, yeah, now broadly, I need to focus more on that final blog because time and again, folks come with questions on that part. We are doing it as a storyboard, and now we don't need to focus on all the responses. Pick out only specific responses which you like and mention it in the final block. And we are not specific about the contributors this time. Not no 4, no 5. All the contributors from the Indian region, all the responses we are having now, we are going through them and picking out things. So about assigning the things that what Priyanka said, if you could make it more clear, then it will be better. Same
Um,
people working on this.
Yeah, so it would be voluntary thing, right? We
Yeah,
on the call after this, once we are done, we will stop the recording. We'll pick up say 5 from India region. Then anyone from the call can pick up. Okay, these are the 5. You can say I am picking this, right? Or we will just put a summary to today's call in the chat that okay these are the people, or we can link it to the document that, and in document we can make a point that okay these are the 5 people we have picked up and we are moving forward to add their responses in the initial document. So it would be just voluntary pickup, like if say Anubhav pick up one, Vedant pick up one, once we are done, we are done. Just pick it up yourself, but that's it. I mean, my idea was not to assign it, but just pick it up. Do not like I want to pick. And also like this time let's just stay like one person one response, so everyone will get a chance to write it as well. Yeah, that was also one
yeah,
of the internal feedbacks we received, that we need to involve everyone who is interested.
yes, good. So I guess we are good to stop the recording and start. Like, is there anything else you
Uh,
guys want to discuss?
Yeah, Avinesh has a point. So he's mentioned that we have some folks missing in the meet. Yeah, for the same reason, we'll try to not only pick up people from India region at the moment. We'll also pick responses from different regions as well. We'll not just prioritize a block for that. So people uh, who are missing at the moment, uh, it's just a time thing, right? They can pick up responses later on for different people, right?
Yeah. Also, we will put like the notes. We have summarized everything we discussed. We'll put it in the Slack thread so everyone knows what we have discussed. Yeah. I guess that's it, and we could stop the recording. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk
Yeah, I
about?
have a small suggestion.
Yeah.
So basically, since I joined late and I saw the folks who have wrote the blogs earlier, I saw that some of them wrote it in a single paragraph, like all the points they just wrote it down in a single paragraph. Some divided it into the type of the questions it was in the questionnaire. So I guess if we just lay out a particular template, like for each question, then under each question, folks can have their answer written in a story type of thing, so that when you are making the final draft, it will be easier to pick up to see which answers relate to which questions and see which points are distinct out of them, so that in the final draft it will be easier to put up the points. I think you're getting me.
um,
Yeah, but I guess that requirement is over now because we are not
yeah,
writing everything. We are not noting every responses. We will only pick up the responses that you feel is important or you feel is interesting in
No,
that
no, I'm
particular.
speaking about the individual authors of the
Yes,
I
blog.
think I
about
can
individual.
clarify
Yeah, go ahead.
a little bit on it, because what I understood from Purneshwar was uh, uh, basically in the end when we are reviewing the draft, we'll know like this answer is in response to this particular question. So the way we are going to write the stories right now is there will be no question. We are just assuming that the responses we have received to the questions are some of the bits and pieces we have received as some mm, something to write a story around, right? So there is no particular set of questions we are going to answer, or we are going to like the major as a whole, the blog won't answer particular set of question. It will be just story around one particular contributor. So now it doesn't matter if one person's responses are answering to all the questions. It's just whatever we found most interesting, most appropriate to the requirements from a person's responses, we are going to collect them, make them like format them in a manner it so it's looks like more of a story kind of thing, and then put that as a section in the blog. Yeah, that's the idea now. So we are just trying to sideline from the question answer thing based on the feedback and the review we receive from people. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So anything else? Anyone? Vinesh, you wanted to say something? You raised your hand. Good, go ahead.
Yeah, I mentioned in the chat itself, but yeah, Priyanka, you just mentioned about the story kind of thing. So if you're gonna pick some part of a response, I don't think we won't be able to give a good story, the good connectivity among the thing, the response. Can you just more elaborate what story is according to you?
Yeah. So it's going. So that is some work at the writer's part who is going to write the section. So they just have to look at all the responses. Like there are 5 answers. Somehow club them in a manner that it looks like a connected story. So it doesn't have to be a story like a story thing, but it should start like, okay, we are talking about this person, and then from moving from this particular line that sounds like connected, and then from this particular section to this. So it has to be a flowing thing, but eh, there is right now no particular way to explain, okay, this is the kind of story we are trying to look at. That will be something maybe we can understand after a couple of runs through reviews, when we actually write the responses or the sections in a story manner. But that's something, a creativity part on the blog, on the writers or the author's part at the moment, who will be picking up the writing part. So yeah, that's something we have to decide, but that will entirely revolve around what kind of responses we have received from a certain person. Yeah, so the story can be anything.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
just
just
about the story
writing
part.
in a.
So
Yeah, go on.
yeah, yeah.
No, go on.
Yeah. So just about the story part, like I was since I was writing my blog like yesterday only. So I was thinking to paraphrase some sentences, but in that I ran into something like maybe when one of the contributors will be reading his blog or his part of the story, maybe. So he might be thinking that I didn't say this word and they use this word. So maybe that can be a little bit problematic, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we got a green signal on this particular part. So this was the same concern I think Deba raised to the people who provided us the feedback, that we do earlier we had decided not to, like intentionally decided not to use any words, any sentences from our own end, and just use their words exactly. So people just have said they do not like it. They're like, the simple gist was this: they do not like it the way it was written, and so they want us to just format in a proper manner. So right now I think that's something that's something that has come from the reviewers only. So we can do that now. We can try to mold the we'll try to be honest to the people. We'll try our best, but yeah, we can little bit mold the sentences to make them sound better or look better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I just want to say it again, the story, that particular word was wrong. I do not know who picked that up or from where. It's just
We
more
can
of
say it
like
as paraphrase.
collecting, yeah, paraphrasing the
Yeah.
content, so it's more interesting to read. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I was saying that previously, like the story part. Uh, don't get confused. You have to make a storyboard or something. I'll remove it from the notes also. It's like paraphrase it in a better manner. Okay, change the sentences if you don't like. Change if you feel the response is cold. Sometimes we read a sentence and we feel like it's cold. Okay, so we know how to make it sound good. So just make it sound good. Just don't change the meaning. If someone is saying Kubernetes is good, we don't change the meaning that Kubernetes is bad. But if someone is saying Kubernetes is better than average, we can make it sound like, okay, Kubernetes is good. So take that
Or you
thing.
can
Okay.
choose to avoid that line only if you do not want to do
Exactly.
anything
Yeah.
around that. Yeah.
So I guess a lot of discussion we had. So now what Priyanka said, we could go through the individual part. I am just stopping the recording.